Today, today we are going to build a library management system. The library management system aids users to borrow books and also return books back into the system using the system built. So the system comprises of catalogs, book catalogs, and also the book or return also catalog book or return also system built inside, and also the due date trafficking. So first of all, I'll describe the HTML structure and also talk about the CSS, the JavaScript, and the backend attached to it. So first of all, with the HTML, we have first initialize our HTML, that's declaring the header, the HTML tag, the header, the head, and the body. So within the body, that's where it holds the main page. So the body will declare the diff with the class. The class serves as an attribute, or the class serves as a selector that we can apply the CSS or the HTML structure or the HTML elements. So the CSS is declared with the container. So for us to start up with our library management system, we describe it as H1. That's the header one. Library management, we declare it as a library management system. And the diff, we also declare the diff in the class. The grid is the horizontal and the vertical alignment of the page. So we grade it, and also the card. The card arrange the elements properly in a well positioned form. So each day we labeled it the books catalog, and we also included a form ID where users will be asked to type in the book type, the title, and the author who wrote that book, and the number of book they want, and the copies. So at least the minimum of those copies should be one. The button that will aid them to submit or add a book. So it also continues the borrow or the return records. That's also help users to borrow and return records. So that one too, we have a type, the number of books, the book ID, and its minimum is one. So its input is in text. The borrower's name is also included. The input type. This input type is to ensure that users type the actual details in the system. So it has been specified as date, due date, and the placeholder so due date required. And the button is used to enhance users to that interactivity between the user and the system. So submit the borrow book. The diff class is also used to group those elements into one container. So let me move to the style. The style is to give a colorful background or a colorful page to the HTML structure. So we declared the styles header, we declared its tag, we declared its tag, and we ended it with its tag. So with the style, when we start with the style, we talked about the body, the font family. We use varieties of fonts, that's Midnight, Jennifer, and Sans Serif. The background was linear gradient, and the minimum height was 100 PHP. The padding was 20 pixels. So the container that holds the elements, the max width was 1200 pixels, and the margin was 0 auto. So the H1, when you talk about the H1 with the CSS, the H1, the H1, the CSS applied to it, like the colorful or the design applied to the H1. The text alignment was center, the color was white, the margin bottom was 30 pixels, the font size was 2.5 m, the text shadow was 2 pixels, 4 pixel, and the color was RGBA. That's its color code. The grid tool, we defined it that way. The card tool, we we designed it that way with the details provided. As a background, the border radius, the pattern, box shadow, transition, and the card over to was transformed in box shadow. The form to display the form to the form with the user's name and the boxes included. We inscribed it with the CSS, the input from the bottom to the very end of the CSS applied to it, and we closed the star, the cascading styling sheet tag, closed it. And let me move to the JavaScript. So the JavaScript is to make the system interactive. It's to make the system interactive. So we get the elements by the get element by the ID. That was what was introduced. The constant title, the add event listener. All these are CSS. Like all these are JavaScript functions that is included to help interactivity possible. So you have a constant title, you have a constant author, const is equal to document get element, the title value, the author value, and the copy value. So you try the constant response is equal to await fetch slash books. These are the book. So all these elements or all these attributes declared in the JavaScript is should ensure interactivity. So that's what is displayed here, and the script tag is ended. And to add to it, a backend was added to it. The backend is added to it to hold the whole application, the whole system. It's hold it down with its server included with the server address, the local host, the server address, and also to to make the application available on the server so that it can distribute the system accordingly. It can it can it can deliver its services or distribute its services on the server. So that's the function of the backend. The backend is built to hold the application down, and the application program interface included in the backend that will help the library management system to be effective, efficient for users to use. So basically, the library management system, the we use the HTML, the CSS, the JavaScript, and the backend to make the system successful and interactive and efficient. So the HTML is the structure that draws the layout of the system. The CSS applies a styling or design to the system. The JavaScript ensures the interactivity between the system, and the backend holds the system down on the server, and also includes the application program interface, that's the API. The, the API the API holds the program status. It includes other data programs in it. That's the backend. The backend holds the data down. So basically, that's all about the library management system, and I will display it for you to see how I got the interface like. So there's the library management system, the books catalog. You can type your title of the book, the author, and the copies you want. You can add a book here. You can borrow or return records, the book ID.